Nate was running late, as always. His alarm hadn't gone off, his coffee machine was broken, and his shoelaces decided to snap as he tied them. He raced down the street toward the station, clutching his satchel, heart pounding as the sound of a departing train whistle echoed through the cool morning air. By the time he stumbled onto the platform, sweat dripping down his face, the train was already gone. He groaned and slumped onto a nearby bench. A clock overhead ticked ominously, and Nate swore it wasn't moving right. The second hand seemed to jerk backward every few ticks. Then, a strange announcement crackled through the speakers. Now boarding on Platform 9. The train to yesterday. All passengers, please prepare to depart. Nate froze. Platform 9? There wasn't a Platform 9. This was a tiny station with just 4 platforms. Confused but intrigued, he stood and followed the sound of the voice. At the far end of the station, where an overgrown hedge blocked an unused track, he saw it. A gleaming black and silver locomotive with antique detailing and a warm golden glow spilling from its windows. Curiosity tugged harder than logic. Nate approached, and as he stepped closer, the conductor appeared. An elderly man in a crisp uniform. He tipped his hat. Conductor, ticket, sir. Nate, I don't have one. Conductor, no matter. First timers ride free. The conductor handed Nate a ticket with shimmering gold letters. Train to yesterday, carriage 3, seat 42. Before he could second-guess himself, Nate climbed aboard. The inside was stunning, polished wood, velvet seats, and a faint scent of lavender. The train began to move, gliding so smoothly that it felt like floating. "Where are we going?" Nate asked a passenger sitting across from him, a woman holding a faded photograph. "To a moment that matters," she replied cryptically. The scenery outside the window shifted, not into rolling hills or countryside, but into memories. His memories. Nate saw himself as a child, laughing on a swing. As a teenager, winning a science fair. As an adult, arguing with his father in a hospital room. The train slowed and the conductor appeared again. "Carriage 3, seat 42, your stop is here." Nate stepped off the train onto solid ground. He blinked and suddenly he was standing in the middle of his childhood home. It was the night before his father's surgery, the night they'd had their biggest fight. Nate remembered storming out, angry words hanging in the air. His father had passed away a week later, and Nate had carried the guilt ever since. But now, he was here. The clock on the wall ticked softly, and the faint hum of the television played from the living room. This was his chance. They talked for hours. About life, about regrets, about love. Nate apologized for his harsh words, and his father smiled. "You're forgiven, son," he said. "You always were." When the first rays of dawn appeared, the world began to shimmer and fade. Nate found himself back on the train, tears streaming down his face. When the train arrived at his station, the conductor tipped his hat again. "How was your journey?" "It was..." Nate struggled for words. "It was everything." The conductor smiled knowingly. "Remember, the past can guide you, but the present is where you build." The train disappeared as suddenly as it had arrived, and Nate walked home with a lighter heart. From that day forward, he lived with purpose, knowing that some moments, past and present, are worth cherishing.